All right, what's up, guys? All right, lesson 4-8, money number stories. So, with this lesson, I'm actually going to kind of go through a list of steps you need to do when answering any kind of number story, and then we will actually go into the problem. Okay, so when we're answering number stories in general, it doesn't have to be money. We need to go through these steps that are on the page. Okay, so if you happen to see me after we move from this page to look over this way, I have these steps so that we can make sure that we are actually going through step by step when we're answering these problems. Okay. Some of the steps we'll skip because once we get more practice, we kind of know what we're looking for, what information that we need, what we don't need, all that kind of stuff. Okay. So before solving any number story, you have to keep three pieces of information in mind when making sense of the problem. Number one, as you read the problem, what do you understand and what do you not understand from the problem? So, what do you know the problem is asking you to do? So, what information did they provide for you that you know? Or if you don't understand how the problem works, then we need to figure that out as we go. Two, what do you know from the problem? What information did they give you? What information did they provide for you? Can you circle, underline specific numbers or words or units that they give you? You're kind of breaking apart the problem. It's like main idea and detail in reading. What you're doing is you're finding out what the important information is and breaking it apart from there. Okay. Number three, what do you need to find out? What are they not telling you? What information do we not know yet that we need to find out from the problem? So that's what the first three questions that I have to ask myself. What do I understand or not understand? What information did they give me? And then finally, what are they not telling me? Okay, what do I need to solve? All right. Once you've done that, once you've asked yourself those questions, you need to make a plan for what you will do with the problem. Are you going to add, subtract, multiply, divide, draw a picture, draw a diagram, make a table, make a graph, write a number story, use counters or base 10 blocks, make tallies, or even use a number line? What strategy are you going to use in order to solve this problem? Now, keep in mind, with number stories, there might be multiple steps in order to solve them. Okay, so in this case, you have to make sure that you might be adding and multiplying in a problem. You might be multiplying and subtracting in the problem. Might need to make a graph or a table with multiply. Um, if you have a multi-step problem, which you'll need to figure out based on those three questions at the top, then you can know what kind of plan you can have for what kind of strategy you're going to use. Next, once you've made a plan to solve the number story, solve the problem. So this is the most important part. Once you've asked those three questions, once you've made a plan of what you're going to do, then you solve the problem. One, remember to show your work. You can do all this work and make a mistake, but if you show all your work in the process and the step of going through it, what'll happen is as you are going back to recheck, which is the last part, or as your teacher or another classmate is helping you going back through the steps, they might be able to see, oh, you made an error right here. That's why you're not getting the correct answer, even if you double check it. Or the teacher, as me, or whoever your teacher is, can go back and say, oh, here's where we made a mistake. What do we need to do in this step? Okay, so showing your work is always good. Never erase it. Show all your work on a scratch piece of paper or on that page. Two, keep trying if you get stuck. I see this a lot in students. You just stop. As soon as you get stuck on something, you just stop and you're done. Keep trying, keep going at it. And there's two things that you could possibly do. You may need to reread the problem. Go back and reread it. You don't have to just read it one time. Go back and reread the problem multiple times if you need to try to see if there's new information that they're providing to you for you to be able to solve it. Or you might need to try a new strategy to figure it out. So in this case, maybe you don't need to subtract. Maybe you need to divide instead. Or maybe writing a number story is okay in this problem, but maybe making tallies or using base 10 blocks would help me out better. Okay, so maybe trying a new strategy to see if that helps out. And then finally, you're going to double check your work. This does not mean just look back and say, yep, I did it right. No, for one, you need to double check and see if your answer makes sense. Does it make sense in the problem? And most of the time, when you double check your work, you're going to do the opposite operations that you did in the problem. So let's say that I multiplied in my problem. In order to double check, I might need to divide. So the opposite of multiplication is division. Maybe I subtracted during my problem. Well, maybe I need to add when I double check. Okay. Does my answer make sense? You have to ask yourself that question. If it makes sense, that means everything is going to add up together or subtract together or multiply together or divide together in order to come up with those specific numbers that you got in your original problem. And then finally, number two, how do you know it makes sense? Most of the time, you're going to have two either add-ins or factors or dividend, divisors or something along those sides. The difference is when you double check your work, you need to make sure that whatever those two numbers are, you either add, subtract, multiply, divide, your total should match up with what's in your original problem. So they might give you the total in your original problem, and you have to use that information. They might be missing a factor or a dividend, or I mean, not a dividend, a divisor, or an add-in, or something like that, a difference. They might be missing that information, but going back and reworking your problem to see if it's actually correct will help you out tremendously when you double check your work. Okay. And this takes time with number stories, taking time to go back and double check. Okay. So with all of this information, this is just getting us started and solving the problem and double checking our work as we go through each one of these. Now, do I expect you to go through each time and go, what do you understand? What do you not understand? What is the problem giving me? What is the problem not giving me? How am I going to solve this? I'm going to solve this problem. I'm going to double check. Not specifically asking you to go through each one of those steps out loud, but mentally in your mind, you should be going through step by step by step by step by step in the process in order to find out number stories. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to look on page, I think, 128 in our book, and we're going to use a table to help us answer problems 1 and 2. So we're going to do 1 and 2, and then you'll be expected to do 3 through 7 by yourself. Now, page 127 is your math boxes for this lesson. Okay, so we're actually going to skip those for right now, and we're going to do the lesson work, 128 and 129. And then you'll go back and you'll do page 127 on your math boxes. Okay, so, all right. So this is page 128 in your book. So with this lesson, I'm going to read this information for problems 1 and my directions. And then we're going to look and see how we can solve this problem. Okay, so it says college students in Santa Barbara, California completed classes and are making travel plans to go home for the summer. Use the information in the chart below to help them plan their trips. If needed, draw a diagram such as a measurement scale to help you solve the problem. So that's a strategy that you could use, a measurement scale. So here is my chart, my table right here. I have a one-way train and bus fare from Santa Barbara, California. These are my destinations or the places that I can go, the approximate travel time, how long it's going to take me to get there. By train, how much is it going to cost? By bus, how much is it going to cost? These are per person, okay? Per person. Because that's going to be information I'm going to need to know. Because it doesn't tell me that by train, this is worth 3 people or 2 people or 8 people. This is per person. This is how much it costs per train. This is how much it costs per bus, okay? So number 1, we have an A and a B. So let's start with A, and then we'll go on to B. Colleen, Amelia, and Teresa are going home to San Diego. They buy 3 train tickets using 2 $100 bills. How much change should they get from the cashier? Okay, so let's break this problem apart. The first part right here, it says Colleen, Amelia, and Teresa are going home to where? San Diego. Okay, so they're going home to San Diego. And I know I clicked on red, but for some reason it came up purple, whatever. So San Diego is right here. Okay, so now I need to start reading the question. They buy 3 train tickets. Okay, so 3 train tickets using 2 $100 bills. How much change should they get from the cashier? All right, so I got 3 train tickets. So I go San Diego. I don't care how long it takes me because they're not asking me about how much time it's going to be. But I need to figure out, am I using a train ticket or a bus ticket? Well, they say a train ticket. So here's my train ticket right here for San Diego. Now, again, I know that this is per person. So 1 person. How many people? They buy 3 train tickets. So I have 42, 42, and 42. So I have 3 of those. All right. So my first procedure is I buy 3 of those. So that means I have to add. Okay. So I add these together. 2, 4, 6, 4, 8, 12. So how much money is that? That's $126 for those 3 tickets. Okay. All right. So I've got that information. Now, how much did they pay with? Well, in this case, they used 2 $100 bills. So if I have $100 here and I have $100 here, if I add those together because they use those, boom, boom, and that's $200. Okay. So I have $200 that I used to pay for those tickets. The tickets cost $126. What does my question ask me? How much change should they get from the cashier? Okay, so what I did with this problem is I added these, I've added these, and then I have to figure out the change. Well, from lesson 4-7, I believe it was 4-7. Nope, 4-6. Oh, no, 4-7A in our Oklahoma Essentials book. In that lesson, we were making change. We were finding out the correct change. So when we did that lesson, what happened? We had to, when we were finding out the change, we had to subtract what we paid versus what the total items cost. Okay, so what did we pay? We paid $200. So I'm going to just write it over here. $200. How much did the total tickets cost? 126. I have 126. If I subtract that, I will get how much change they should get back from the cashier. So can I take 6 from 0? I can't. So can I borrow from this 0? I can't. So 2 becomes a 1, 0 becomes a 10, but I have to borrow again. So this becomes a 9. This 0 becomes a 10. 10 minus 6 is 4. 9 minus 2 is 7. 1 minus 1 is 0. So how much change should they receive? $74. So I'm going to write 74 on this line. Okay, so I've answered the problem. Now, what was my last thing I had to do? I have to go back and double check. Let's see if this is a different color. Nope. Okay, so apparently when you use the pen tool, it keeps the color for everything. So that's fine. All right, so with $74, what did I pay with? 200, right? Okay, 2 $100 bills. That is my total that I paid with. So I'm going to take 126 is how much the tickets cost, and 74, and I'm going to add those together to see if they equal the amount that I paid with. So I don't really have much room, so we're going to do 126 plus 74 6 plus 4 is 10. Oh. 2 plus 7 plus 1 is 10. 1 plus 1 is 2. So, does this equal this? In our case, yes, it does. So, does it make sense? Yes, because they are the exact same number. There you go. That's how you double check. Okay. I worked out the problem again because I knew that I paid with $200. So I took how much the tickets cost versus how much change I received to see if it totaled the amount of money that I gave the cashier. Okay. So that's that problem. Usually you would do all of this work on a separate sheet of paper, unless you had extra room on your paper. I don't have extra room, so I'm actually going to erase this so that way I can work on my next part of the problem. Keep my answer on there. Okay, and good. All right. So now, okay. So now I'm going to go on to B. So B says the cashier wants to use the least number of bills when she gives the girls change and has only $10 and $1 bills. How many $10 and $1 bills could she give them? All right. So cashier only has tens and ones. So wants to give them what? The least number of bills. Okay. She doesn't have 5. She doesn't have 20s. She doesn't have hundreds. She doesn't have any of those. She only has tens and ones. So how much money or how much change did the girls get back? They got back $74, right? Well, I want to try to make the least number of bills. So am I going to start with the $10 or the $1? Well, in this case, I'm going to start with the $10 because it's the most money that the cashier can give them back. So how many $10? So we're going to make a chart here. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a chart. So $10 bills. We're going to tally these up and we're going to see how many $10 bills we can get out of 74. Okay. So if I took $10, so I have $10, $20, $30, $40, $50, $60, $70. Can I go up to $80? No, because it only goes up to 74. So I can go $70. Well, 74 minus 70 equals how much? $4. So how many of the $1 do I need? I need 4 of them, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. So what did my question ask me? How many $10 and $1 bills could she give them? All right. So $10, how many could she give? So for $10, she could give them 7 bills. And then for $1, she could give them what? 4 bills. And again, I could double check my work by actually going through step by step by step. I could go 74 minus 10 equals 64. Minus 10, 54. Minus 10, 44. Minus 10, 34. Minus 10, 24. Minus 10, 14. Okay, minus 10, 4. I can't do any more sets of 10. So then I would do 4 minus 1 is 3. 3 minus 1 is 2. 2 minus 1 is 1. 1 minus 1 is 0. The whole goal of this problem is to try to get down to $0 left. So I did this strategy. Let's say that this strategy doesn't work for you and you wanted to do 74 minus 10, 64 minus 10. If you wanted to do that, that's absolutely fine if you go back and double check. Okay. So in this case, I don't need to double check unless you really feel like you should go through and do that method that I told you about 74 minus 10, 64 minus 10, 54, all that kind of stuff. Okay. So I've answered the question right here. I need for $10, I need 7 bills. For $1, I need 4 bills. Okay. So I'm going to erase this right here. Again, you would keep yours on your scratch piece of paper when you're working it out. However, I don't have a lot of room on here, so I'm just going to leave my answers as is. All right, number 2. So do you see how much time is being taken for each problem? Now, some of us are going to be like that really quickly. We're going to understand the problem, know how to do it, solve it, 2 minutes at max. Okay? For some of us, it's going to take a little bit longer because we have to process the information. We have to go through each problem, okay? And we might have to go through different strategies in order to answer it. That's fine. If you get stuck, keep pushing yourself through, okay? Keep working the problem. Go through step by step by step. All right? Juan, Terrence, Rashad, and Adrian are going home to Los Angeles. How much more would it cost them to buy 4 train tickets than 4 bus tickets? Okay, so I got 4 friends, okay? And they're going to Los Angeles, which is right here. So I'm going to mark that. How much more, okay? That's very crucial. How much more would it cost for them to buy 4 train tickets than 4 bus tickets? Okay, so Los Angeles, I have train tickets here, bus tickets here. Okay, so I need 4 train tickets and I need 4 bus tickets, and I have to figure out what the difference between the two. Okay, so first off, I have to figure out the train tickets. How much would 4 of those cost? The bus tickets, figure out how many 4 of those would cost, and then I take those 2 answers and subtract and get my answer, because it's asking me how much more would it cost if I were to do that. So I have to find the difference between the two. So 31, and I'm actually not going to do repeated addition. I'm just going to do multiplication because it's just faster for me to do that. So 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times 3 is 12. Then 22 times 4. 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 2 is 8. Again, I take these 2 and I subtract them. So 124 minus 88. I can't take 8 from 4, but I can borrow from this 2 to make it 1. This 4 becomes a 14. Okay, 14 minus 8. Oh, man, that's a tough problem in my head. So 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8. Okay, so it would be 6. I can't take 8 from 1, but I can borrow from this guy. Make it a 0. Make this an 11. 11 minus 8 is 3. I have 0 left. So how much money difference would it be to buy a train ticket as opposed to a bus ticket? It would be roughly $36. Not roughly. It would be $36 if I were to buy 4 train tickets versus 4 bus tickets. Mr. Collins, we got to go back and we got to double check those. Okay, we're going to double check them right now. So over here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to double check. So what could I do? I could do 88 plus 36. 8 plus 6 is 14. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I get 124. Is that 124 over here? Yes. Now, if I had more room, I would go back and I would work my problems out again. 31 times 4, 22 times 4. And then I would do it one more time, double check, okay, to see if my answers are correct and right. I might even do 31 plus 31 plus 31 plus 31, 22 plus 22 plus 22 plus 22. I would go step by step by step, okay, in order to answer this. So it would be $36 difference between the 2 different types of tickets, okay? Hopefully this lesson helped. If you have any more questions or need help or at all, remember, keep working through it. If you need to use a different strategy, use a different strategy. Yeah, and if you need more assistance, just ask your teacher for more assistance, and good luck. All right, bye, guys.